My dear friends, a very good morning and welcome back to another session of your economics class. Today we'll start with a new topic. Is it clear? See, I hope that last few classes we have been discussing what is demand, elasticity of demand, then the determinants of demand, factors of demand, and we have observed that the crux of or the basic understanding of the theory of demand is when the price of a particular commodity increases, the demand decreases, and it is vice versa. When the price decreases, demand increases. When the price increases, demand decreases. That means what? When the price of the commodity is less in the market, people are demanding more for the particular commodity. Why? Because the price is less. On the contrary, when the prices of the commodities increases, suppose for example the prices of luxury items or the prices of costly items or the prices of things like your flats, buildings, cars, okay, so or gold, when these prices increase, then the demand varies accordingly. So this is what we have discussed in theory of demand. Then we have also tried to understand that there are few exceptional cases. Why few exceptional cases? Because the theory of demand is not applicable over there. Okay, for example, I have told you regarding the necessary goods, what happens in case of necessary commodities. Whenever there is a change in price, there is not much difference in the demand because necessary items or goods are consumed in a normal way. Similarly, I gave you the example of luxury goods or luxury commodities or items where the demand curve is different. Then we have also discussed about the substitute commodities. Okay, like tea is a substitute of coffee. Similarly, we have also discussed the example of complementary items. Complementary means when two or more items are consumed at one point to give a satisfaction. Is it clear? So, we have already discussed the determinants of demand, what are the factors affecting demand, why demand curve slopes downwards, why there are exceptions, and so on. So we have last few classes, we have got enough discussion with examples on demand, theory of demand, and we have understood the theory of demand, the different curves of demand, elasticity of demand, where we have tried to discuss the responsiveness or the sensitiveness, like we have tried to understand how the market behaves when the price as a factor or income as a factor changes and what kind of changes are brought in the demand. So these things we have already covered, and today we are going to discuss the concept of supply. Okay. Now I have told you there is two sides, that is one is demand side and another is the supply side. Now demand side, as we have already understood, demand side is created from where? Demand side is created from the consumer side the demand is created. But when we are coming to supply, concept of supply is generated by the seller or the people in the market, because they will be providing the goods and necessary items which will be available in the market. So demand is generated from the side of the consumer, but supply is generated from the side of the manufacturer or the person who is selling the products. So what is supply? See, we have understood that demand is a desire or it is a purchasing power or willingness to pay for a particular commodities. Your demand. Now what is supply? Supply is that part of the stock of goods which is prepared by the seller to be sold at a particular price at a particular period in a market. Now let me put it in a very simple way. Just for your understanding, I am putting in form of points. It is that stock of goods. Okay, stock of goods. Just try to understand the meaning or the concept of supply in points. So what is supply? Supply is that part of the stock of goods which is prepared by the seller. Okay, prepared by the seller. Okay, prepared by the seller and for selling at a particular price particular period in the market. So please try to understand the meaning of supply. See, I have given you few points. Now what is supply? Supply is that part of the stock of goods. Just for your understanding, I have put the entire concept or definition into small points. The supply can be understood as that part of the stock of goods which is prepared by the seller for selling at a particular price in a particular period in a given market. So what we are discussing now in today's class, we will be discussing that what is the concept of supply. Like supply is generated from the side of the seller and demand is generated from the side of the consumer or people like you and me. So when we are talking about the supply is these particular stock of the goods or items or commodities that is prepared by the seller to be sold at a particular price in a particular or at a given point of time in a given market. Are you clear? So please try to just remember these points. Stock of goods prepared by the seller for selling at a particular price, particular period and a given market. Okay, so this is the very simple definition of supply. Now what is the law of supply? Now let us discuss what is the law of supply. Law of supply. Now what will be the law of supply? The law of supply clearly states the functional relationship between supply of commodity, like the functional relationship between the price of the goods and supply of the commodities. So it says that keeping the other things in constant, when the prices of the commodities increases, the supply also increases, and when the price of the commodity decreases, the supply also decreases. Okay, so what is law of supply? Now I hope that you have understood the meaning of supply. Supply is something which are the stock of goods which will be sold by the seller at a particular price, at a particular period, at a given point of time in a given market. That is, we are talking about the supply. Now what is law of supply? Law of supply explains the functional relationship. Is it clear? Functional relationship between the prices of goods and supply of commodities Is it clear? So what does the law of supply say? Law of supply says that keeping the other things constant. Okay. So what of law of supply? Law of supply explains the functional relationship. Now please see this part. Law of supply explains the functional relationship between the price of the goods and the supply of the commodities. Now what does it state? It states that keeping other things as constant. Please try to understand this part. Keeping other things as constant when the price increases, then supply also increases. Is it clear? So what does the law of supply say? Law of supply say that keeping the other things constant, when the price of the commodities or goods increases in the market, the supply also increases. Now why it is so? Because with the increase in price, the profit or the benefit for the seller will be more. So what happens? Automatically when there is an increase in the price of the commodities, the supply side will also increase. But here what we have studied in law of demand is when the price increases, the demand is decreasing. When price decreases, demand is increasing. But we find that the law of supply is just the opposite, where keeping the other things as constant, when the price increases, the supply also increases. Now let us discuss about the supply schedule. Okay. Now supply schedule is again of two types like a demand schedule. One is the individual schedule and one is the market schedule. Is it clear? So supply schedule, your supply schedule is again of two types. One is your individual schedule, as we have discussed in the theory of demand, individual, and another is the market schedule. Okay, what is individual schedule? Individual schedule, we are trying to analyze what is the impact of supply when we are considering the price of one single commodity. Say for example, we can show an example. Suppose you look at this table where one column I put the price, okay, another column I put the supply. So what happens? Suppose the price of the commodity is 500, supply is say 50. Suppose this increases to 1000, supply is now 100. Then this is 1200. See, gradually there has been an increase in the prices. So what happens that when there is a gradual increase in the prices, the supply also increases. That is what the law of supply actually states. So it can be well established in this particular diagram that in an individual supply chain or in a supply figure which is individual schedule, we are trying to analyze that we are taking into consideration only one price of one commodity. So what happens here? When the price of the commodity increases slowly, the supply also, see, when the price was 500, supply was 50, but when the price has increased from 500 to 1000, it is 100. Then when the price is 1200, supply is again increased to say 160. And when the price is 1300, supply is increased to 200. So there is an increase in the supply with the increase of the price. This is known as your individual schedule, and the graph will be somewhat like this because there is an increase. This is price, okay, price, this is supply. So price increases means supply also increases. You see the graph here. This side we have put the price, x-axis is your supply side, y-axis is your price. So what happens here? Price is increasing right from 500 to 1300. So supply is also increasing. So you will get a towards right, from left to right you will get a increasing line, red curve. Okay, this is your individual schedule. It shows the various quantity of goods at different prices and how it impacts the supply of the goods. Is it clear? So we have seen in the individual schedule that when the prices of the commodities increases, the supply gradually increases. This is what the law of supply actually states. I hope till now this is clear. So what we have discussed, we have tried to discuss what is supply. Supply is that part of the stock of commodities which is prepared by the seller to be sold at a particular price at a given point of time in a given market. So that is known as supply. Now what does the law of supply says? The law of supply states that keeping other things constant, when the price of the commodities increases, the supply also increases. Please keep this in mind. Then the supply schedule. Supply schedule is of two types. One is the individual schedule, one is your market schedule. Now what is individual schedule? In individual schedule, we are trying to understand what will be the impact on supply if the price of a particular commodity increases. Now I have given you example in the table. Say for example, suppose let us take an example of say vegetables. Suppose the cost of vegetables is, or the cost of a particular item increases gradually from rupees 50 to 100, then 100 to 150, then 150 to 200. So when is a gradual increase in the price, what happens? There is also gradual increase in the supply. Is it clear? Okay. Now let us move little bit further and let us discuss about the exceptions to the law of supply. See, please remember or keep in mind that the law of supply is just the opposite of what we have discussed, the theory of demand or law of demand. Law of demand is what says that price increase, demand decrease, Price decrease, demand increase. But the law of supply or the theory of supply is just the opposite, saying that if price increases, supply increases. So it is something directly proportional relationship, and if price decreases, supply also decreases. But there are some exceptions to this case. Now let us see what are the exceptions. Exceptions to this law. Okay, exceptions means which do not obey the law, or which are rare cases, or where the law is not applicable. Those things we are saying as exceptions. Now what are the exceptions? Exceptions may be, number one is your rare goods. Rare goods. Rare goods means which are not easily available in the market, or which are limited in the market, or where the supply is very much restricted. So here your law of supply will not hold good. Why? The law of supply says price increase means supply decrease. But in case of rare goods, it is just the opposite. With the increase in price, the supply may not increase, because we are talking of those goods. Rare means the goods which are not available freely in the market. Is it clear? Rare goods means the goods which are not available freely in the market, and very demand is also very less. So in case of those kind of goods, the law of supply will not hold. Second is supply of labor. Second exception is supply of labor. Now what is supply of labor? How we can say it is an exception case? Now supply of labor says that if, see, a labor usually takes the wages, whether it is daily wage or weekly or something. Every day labor is taking wage for his whole day efforts. So if we consider the wage as a factor and we try to discuss how it is an exceptional case, then we can say that if the wages increases, suppose we are talking about a daily wage earner. Suppose the daily wage earner is earning 100 rupees per day. Suppose you increase the what? If you increase the wages from 100 to 200, that means when the wages increase, then what will happen? The supply may also increase. Okay. So that means with the increase of wage, the supply has increased. So this is an exceptional case. But sometimes it happens that the supply may also decrease. Okay, because we are talking about labor. Labor are those persons who are putting their hard efforts for a particular work. Maybe we are talking about labor at a construction site, or we are talking about labor at any other site or an industrial site. Whatever may be, the supply of labor states that if we are talking in terms of cost, that is your wage concept. Wage means the daily earnings of a labor is known as wage. Okay, so if you fix the wages rupees 100, okay, then suppose say for rupees 100 the supply is 20 per day. But suppose you increase the wage from 100 to 200, then supply will also increase, because on the other side you have increased the wages. So that is one exception. Is it clear? Then let us discuss what is change in supply. So these are two exceptions case. Now let us discuss what is, remember that the law of supply is exceptional to rare commodities or rare goods which are not plentifully or easily available market, and second is in case of supply of labor. It is not applicable. These 2 points you should remember. Now let us discuss about the change in supply, whether there can be changes in supply. So change in supply can be discussed under 2 points. One is the extension and contraction of supply. Extension and contraction of supply. Is it clear? Number 2, increase. Increase and decrease of supply. Okay, so what is the change in supply? Change in supply can be discussed under 2 important headings. One is extension. You see, extension and contraction of supply, we call it. and second is increase and decrease of supply. Now please try to understand these are two different terms. First one we are talking about the extension and contraction of supply. Now what is extension or contraction of supply? Extension and contraction of supply says that keeping other things as constant, if there is change in price, okay, if there is change in price, then what will happen? If there is change in price, then it will lead to change in supply also. It will lead to change in supply. I get my point? So what does extension and contraction explain? The concept of extension and contraction says that if there is a change in the price, then it will lead to the change in the supply. That means sometimes depending upon the price factor, the supply may contract or the supply may extend. Now when it will contract? Supply will contract when the prices fall and supply will extend or increase when the price of the commodity increases. So this is your extension and contraction of supply. Number 2 is your increase and decrease of supply. Now keeping other things as constant, it says that there is any change in one, then supply, that it says that if there is any change, please try to understand this, if there is any change in one of the determinants, then what is going to happen when there is one of the, then supply is going to change. So see what is the difference between these two concepts. See, we are talking about change in supply. Okay, when there could be a change in supply. Now under that we are discussing two types of changes. One is called as the extension and contraction of supply, and the other one is called as increase or decrease of supply. Now what is extension and contraction of supply? Please try to understand this part. Extension and contraction of supply explains that keeping other things as constant, if there is a change in price, then it will lead to change in the supply. As we have already discussed under the law of supply, that if the price of the commodities or good increases, it will definitely increase the supply also. So extension and contraction of supply explains that keeping other things as constant, if there is a change in price, it will definitely lead to change in the supply. So sometimes what may happen, there may be an extension or more supply, and when the prices go high, and sometimes the supply may contract. Contract means it may curve down, means slow down. Okay, when the prices are less. That is the extension and contraction. But coming to the second part, where I am saying about increase and decrease of supply, here it is stating that keeping other things as constant, if there is a change in any one of the determinants, that means if there is any change in any one of the determinants, what could be the determinants? In the price or other factors, then supply will also change. Okay, so this is your concept of supply change. Change in supply either in case of extension contraction of supply, or either in case of increase or decrease of supply. Extension contraction explains that even if the price changes, supply changes, and the concept of increase and decrease of supply says that if there is a change in one of the determinants, then also the supply is going to change. Is it clear? Okay. Now let us move now further. The next what we will discuss today is, I hope till now you have understood, okay, what is supply, law of supply, then why the law of supply is not applicable to in case of rare goods and supply of labor, then why there is a change in supply. Now let us discuss about the supply function. Supply function. So first we will write the equation and then I will try to explain you. See, supply function, like your demand function. If you remember the demand function, similarly supply function is Px, okay, your Px, Pi, T, Pi, then T, okay, Pit, then W and your Gp. This is your supply function. Please remember this. Your supply function Sx, okay, is Px, comma Pi, comma T, comma W, comma Gp. Again I am repeating, your supply function is Sx is equal to supply of goods. Please write, just note it down. Supply of goods is Sx. Okay, supply of goods. F is the function, okay, because we are talking about the functional relationship. So F is the function, okay. Then Px is price of a commodity X, price of X commodity or X good. Therefore we have written as Px. Then we have Pi, price of the inputs. Pi means price of the inputs. Inputs means what? If you remember, in my first class I told you that one of the important process in economics is your production. Production, distribution and consumption. Now in production there are inputs of goods. What are the inputs? Your raw materials, technology, technique, methods are the inputs. Then processing takes place and at the end of processing we are getting the finished products, that is the final output or final outcome. So similarly in the supply function we are trying to explain it in this formula where Sx is a supply of goods, F is the function. So we are trying to explain it is a combination of Px is the price of the X commodity, Pi is the price of input. So here I am trying to explain what is inputs. Then T, I told you T plays an important role, that is your technology. Without technology we cannot produce the goods. Please remember, technology and technique plays a vital role in the process of production or in generating the final outcome or in generating the final product. Okay, therefore we have kept T. W is your weather conditions. What are the under what conditions you are producing, that is your weather conditions. And finally Gp is your government policy. Government policy. Is it clear? So please try to understand this function. See, the function of supply clearly explains in this particular equation where Sh is the supply of goods. So F is a function. By function means we are explaining the relationship of Px is the price of X. Come good, we have referred to by X. Pi is the price of inputs. Means how much price or how much money have expended towards inputs. T stands for technology because technology and technique plays a vital role in the entire process of producing the particular commodity or in giving a final shape to the commodity. Then we have W is the weather condition. Under what weather conditions you are operating, and finally is the government policy. See, government policy is very, very important because many things depends upon the changes in the policy. Although there are n number of industries and n number of establishments, public sector or say private sector, which are under the process of production, but government is a supreme body which plans and formulates different policies to make the market more stable or to ensure that the supply and demand are in a state of equilibrium, which we are going to study next, that is equilibrium concept. Because what will happen is, I'll give you a small example. Suppose supply is very huge, okay, and the demand is not there in the market. Now what is going to happen then? Just try to think over it. When supply is enormously increasing, supply बहुत ज़्यादा है, पर demand market में नहीं, तो क्या होगा? The particular value of the product will fall down. क्योंकि हम लोग का सप्लाई बहुत है पर डिमांड नहीं है, तो क्या होगा? हम लोग का वो प्रोडक्ट का वैल्यू नहीं रहेगा, कि उसका इंपॉर्टेंस नहीं रहेगा, तो क्या होगा? वो प्रोडक्ट का प्राइस भी घटता जाएगा. सो देन देयर विल बी अ बिग लॉस टू द इंडस्ट्री और द सेलर. So same case is with the demand. If demand is very high, supply is less, means what will happen? Price of the commodity will be very high. So government, why we have put here as government policy GPs, because government policy is a regulating factor to understand or to see that the supply and demand are at a stable state, at a equilibrium state. Is it clear? See, next after we finish supply concept, I will be talking about equilibrium. During that time, I will explain you how demand and supply equilibrium can be ensured and why it is to be ensured. Is it clear? So for today, remember this, that the function is supply of goods is equal to function of Px, that is price of goods. Pi is equal to price of inputs. T stands for technology. W stands for weather conditions. And finally, GP stands for your government policy. Is it clear? So remember this. Now next we will discuss what are the determinants of supply. Determinants of supply. Determinants of supply. Okay, now determinants means what are the factors. Okay. Now first is the price of goods, which is very important. Price of goods. What is price of goods? Price of goods means, what we have discussed is, when the prices increase, supply increases. When the price falls, supply falls. Price increase, supply more. Price decrease, supply is less. So this is first important determinant of supply. Okay, so what does it state? When the first determinant is your price of goods. Price increase, supply more. Price increase, supply less. Second is your goods. Second is your input price. Input price means, last time I was telling you input price. Input price means how much cost you are expending, or how much you are spending for the product to be prepared in the final shape. Now input may be your raw materials, input may be your technical technology methods, so that is input. So input price or input price is the money expended. Like how much money you are expending on production, that is the input price. Now if input is more, input price is more, price increases and supply will increase. Okay. So input if more, suppose take for example, suppose talk for example one manufacturing of a pen. Suppose I am spending rupees 100 to manufacture a good quality pen. Okay, my input price is 100 rupees. Means I will fix a price at 120. So my price, if there is an increase in price, then automatically the supply will also increase. Okay. Next is your technology. Technology. See how technology is important determinant of supply. See, when you are using latest technology, or when you are using the more scientific or more update technology, definitely the prices of the commodities are more, because they are now advanced goods or goods of high quality. So when it is in that case, what happens? The price will increase. and the supply will also increase. Take for example your highly sophisticated or very high price vehicles like your cars or bikes. See, there are some bikes where the cost is 5 lakhs rupees, 6 lakhs rupees, or even 10 lakhs. Why it is so? Because you are using high level technology or advanced technology in the manufacturing or production of those. So technology has also important role to play in the supply. Then we have the government policy, as I told you. See, government policies are the rules and regulations of the government to mobilate or to just have a ensure that a stable condition of the market. So government policy, if it is flexible, if the government policies are not restricted and they are making flexible policy, then if we increase in the price also, it's okay. So increase in price means supply will increase. But suppose the government, like in case of necessary or essential commodities, if the government makes a policy that the prices of essential commodities should not increase by so and so rupees, that means the government fixes a limitation on the price of essential commodity. Like salt is an essential commodity. So you cannot sell salt at rupees 100 per kg or per packet, because that is an essential commodity which every person is going to take, starting from lower class to the high level or upper level class people. So it depends that how the government policies are framed and they are implemented. Suppose policies are flexible, then market conditions will be flexible, price may increase, profits may be generated, and supply will also increase. But if the government policy is restricted or the government policies are somewhat managed in different way, then it will definitely have an impairment on the supply. That means supply may decrease or slow down. Next is your price. Your expectation is there. Expectation of future price. Expectation of future price. Now what is expectation of future price? See, sometimes what happens that we have a notion or we have a thing, ऐसा कभी-कभी ऐसा लगता है कि इस चीज का price आगे जाके बढ़ सकता है. Like for example, I was telling you when I was discussing the theory of demand, sometimes we feel that the price of gold may still increase. So let me buy now. Okay. Although the price of the gold is in the high in the market, but फिर भी I want to buy gold because I have a speculation, या मेरे माइंड में ये है कि आगे चल के गोल्ड का प्राइस और भी इंक्रीज हो जाएगा. अभी अगर 40,000 है तो 50,000 हो जाएगा, तो 50 से बेहतर है कि 40,000 में ही खरीद ले. तो हम लोग क्या करते हैं, कभी कभी सोचते हैं कि फ्यूचर में उस चीज का प्राइस ज्यादा बढ़ेगा, तो हम लोग क्या करते हैं, उस चीज को खरीद लेते हैं, तो सप्लाई भी ज्यादा रहता है एंड वी ऑल्सो बाय मोर. ओके, दैट इज योर प्राइस. देन प्राइस ऑफ अदर कमोडिटी. प्राइस ऑफ अदर कमोडिटी. Now what does price of other commodity says? Now how it is going to impact supply? See, suppose take for example two different commodities, commodity A and B. Suppose there is a difference in the price of both these. Suppose price of commodity A is more, but price of commodity B is less. So what will happen? When the price of commodity A is more, then the supply will also be more, according to the law of supply. But if the price of the commodity B is less, then supply will be less. So many things depends upon the price of the commodity. When if we compare two commodities in the market, okay, or other commodity, number of firms in the market. Another important is number of firms in the market. Number of firms in the market. See, when we are talking about market, market is not only having one single firm or one single brand or one single seller. We are talking about a market where number of firms. So when the number of firms, competition is very high, and every seller is struggling to make profit, and every commodity or every person is trying to sustain or make its own position in the market. So when there are number of firms in the market, then the supply may also get affected. Now how it will be affected? the firms that manufacture best quality product with more price, then the supply will automatically increase. Okay, and you see that all the firms may not fix the price in the same way. Somewhere the prices will be less, somewhere it will be more. But whenever the price is high, the supply will always be high. And the last one is your natural factors. Natural factors. Now, how natural factors have an effect? See, your natural factors are like your flood, calamity, or you can say power cut, or some kind of weather imbalance. Okay, so sometimes it happens that there is a flood situation, or there is a situation when there is heavy rainfall, or there is a situation where you have severe power cuts, or these kind of natural problems or risks come which is beyond the control of the industry. So here what will happen, the supply will be restricted. Now suppose there is flood all over the state, then what will happen, the supply of vegetables will be restricted, because maximum vegetables have been spoiled in the flood, only few is available. Whatever few is available, that will be supplied in very less quantity, but here the prices will be very high. Okay, why? Because that is highly necessary. So similarly, in case of weather conditions, or in case of natural factors, or in case of those factors where the industry is not able to control the situation, then during that time those situations have an adverse impact on the supply. Either they will be favorable to supply, or they will be unfavorable to supply. But remember that in case of conditions like flood, calamities, and other unnatural kind of conditions, the supply is definitely affected. Now I'll tell you, once just few months back, I was going through the newspaper, I saw that at a particular period of time, the onions manufactured by the farmers, means huge amount of onions were spoiled due to some weather conditions. Okay, so what was this condition was, the onions which are sold at a normal rate of 20 or 30 rupees in the market, they were sold at 10 rupees like that. So farmers had a big loss. Why they had a loss? Because first of all, their onions had spoiled due to some condition, and second, whatever was left, they wanted to sell and get something. So by force they were supplying more to the market, but at a cheaper rate. So that was the loss to them. So you can assess that sometimes these natural factors have an adverse impact on the supply. As I told you, if flood comes, or calamity comes, or any other condition happens, then the supply is very badly affected. So these are some of the determinants of supply which we have discussed, starting from price of goods, then your input price, technology, government policy, expectation of future price, that may future the price may increase, then price of other commodity, and number of firms operating in the market, and the last one is the natural factor. Okay, so all these determinants or all these factors have a very important role, or they determine the supply of the goods or products in the market. That means they determine, means they regulate the supply of goods in the market. And price is not the only factor which is impacted or which is regulated, or supply is regulated by price, because already I have told you that if there is a substantial increase in the price, supply may increase. If there is decrease in price, supply will decrease. But there are some other factors which do have a role to play, or which have an impact on supply. Factors like your input price, technology, government policy, expectations of future price of other commodities, then your natural factors, and the number of firms which are operating in the market. Is it clear? So with this end, we come to the end of today's class. I hope that you could understand the concept of supply, what is supply, and what exactly supply, what is the law of supply, which I have already put on the board, and you know that with the increase in price, supply will increase. Then we discuss what are the rare cases, then I told you what are the determinants of supply, then we studied the supply function, and then we try to understand what is the changes in supply. That is, one concept is your extension and contraction of supply, the other is your increase and decrease of supply. So with this we end your class, okay, and I hope that you could understood the terms very carefully. Try to understand, try to go through it, just give a thought, okay, and these concepts are quite easy. Now next class I will be discussing about the theory of equilibrium. So after that we'll come to the end of the second unit, that is your theory of demand and supply, and we will move further as time is very short. So, and we have to move little bit faster, but I am trying my best to explain you the things in a more lucid or easy manner. So thank you so much, have a nice day, and hope that today the class was interesting and you could understand the class. Thank you friends.